Hey everybody, HMV here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and as you can see, the two moon satellite contracts we have couldn't be worse. Let me just point this out to you. The ship that we need to rendezvous with to rescue Sal, I think it is orbiting this way. The two satellite contracts are, one is polar, one is equatorial. The equatorial one is backwards from Sal's orbit. So we need to get in contact with Sal, then do a burn here that will get us the polar orbit, and then do the equatorial burn. I think that's the cheapest way to do all of these burns. We might be able to shave off some meters per second on this one, but really when you do this kind of thing with a satellite, it's pretty cheap anyway. So what we're going to do here is these maneuver nodes are on Sal's ship, which isn't going to be doing this kind of stuff, but they're just here to kind of tell me how much I needed, and it turns out I need about $1,000. So I've made a probe that can do 1,600. And I've put it on top of the Moon Rescuer. And I am not going to be flying the Moon Rescuer. Nobody is, because the Moon Rescuer is to go up there and rescue. And this is completely untested, but in 3, 2, 1, launch. Already, I notice a problem. The SRB has a lot less meters per second, or a lot less thrust to weight, I should say, than I expected it to. But ideally, it will be okay. I've tilted it over just the slightest amount so it doesn't fall back on the launch pad. We're going to have a lot more control once we kick it away, too. There we go. Yeah, we got to keep this guy kind of upright here until we get this up to about 6 or so. That's when we want to be at the 70. But it's a pretty simple ship. This is the satellite. The satellite core is contained in this bay here, so that it is aerodynamic on launch. That's really the only reason, and I can afford the fuel, so I figured, hey, why not? Yeah, could be doing better, but we could be doing worse. Basically, the story of my life. Yeah, if this launch fails because we don't have enough fuel, we should ideally, even with the lack of fuel, be able to get to Sal, and then we can rescue him, and probably get him home. We'll just have to sacrifice the satellite missions, and we can do those in their own dedicated mission later. Okay, let's see if this part of the mission works. Seems to. At some point here, we are going to lose contact with Kerbal Space Center. But it should be after we get our apoapsis. And I'm very concerned about our fuel. I don't think we're going to have enough to complete the mission. But yeah, I might be transferring this fuel into this ship and just tossing the satellite aside. Because we've only got 856 meters per second. Yeah, if we do this now, we might be able to save the thing. So let's transfer the fuel. Oops. Can we transfer this? No, we can't. If we enable crossfeed, now we can transfer it. Now we have enough fuel to do what we want. You know what? I don't think we have enabled fuel transfer. Now I have to decide what I'm going to do here. I need to upgrade a building. I think the VAB in order to get fuel transfer, and I don't have the money for that right now. At least I don't think I do. This all would have been fixed with 2 SRBs on the first stage, yeah. But that's not the building that does it. Is it R&D? Resource transfer available with $1 million. So yeah, not gonna happen. So yeah, let's get this guy into orbit. We just have to keep ourselves up until we find a tracking station. There we go. Yeah, we've already burned up too much fuel in this guy, so there's no going back from that. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to burn this guy up like this. Our entire goal is to match up with this ship right here. I think that's pretty much perfect right there. That's the best we can really expect. Yeah, we have to keep this thing until we get to Moon, though, and actually get matched up with the ship, because we can't throw it aside until it's until this thing is near Sal, because there's no pilot on it. Yeah, we might have the same problem at Moon that Sal has currently. I don't know. We'll find out. This is by far the biggest bird we got to make. And then I think we're just going to launch this exact same thing again without the command pod. Because that satellite will probably be able to make it to do everything. If we just don't have the command pod with the return stuff. And whatever this costs, this is about how much we need to get back. 167 out of 506. It's going to be tight, but we're going to make it. And of course, we're going into the shadow of the moon. Because, you know, nothing can go right. But it looks like we'll be out of the shadow by the time we do our maneuver node. Let's actually aim at that maneuver node. I might try to bring all this satellite stuff back. We have the fuel for it. And it kind of would be a shame to not have it. Or to have to pay for it when we didn't use it. I mean, we already paid for the fuel to carry it up here and back. We've still got 278 meters per second. I think I'm going to actually decide if I'm going to bring those things home after I plot the maneuver node to get home. It's nice that that antenna will get us all the way out to moon. It won't relay, though, because it's not a relay antenna. Heaven forbid. If you're curious about my opinion on the antenna direct versus relay antennas, I understand the need for two different types. Let's see. What's better, that or that? Probably this and then slow down. Yeah, there we go. I'm cool with there being two different types, but I think the direct antenna should be able to talk to a relay antenna and then be relayed home. It's just like the first hop can be to a relay antenna, and then after that it has to be all relay antennae. Sorry about the cat in the background if you hear her. I'm cat sitting. I think I might have referred to her as my cat. I'm starting to think she's my cat because I've had her for quite a while. But I may have to give her back eventually. Okay. 12 kilometers, 9 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 0.1 kilometers. Look at that. Okay, we're going to warp to here. We're going to hit F5. Then we're going to warp to here. Yeah, we're basically, I mean, we're just going to pull right up next to this thing. So there's really no need to try to get close to it. And really at 10 meters per second, we could just jump out and get it with that ship. But there's actually something I wanted to do. And I think now's the time to do it. Let's go ahead and hop over here. We're in orbit mode. We're actually going to, oh, we can't turn this guy. Durr. Okay, let's give it a tiny, tiny bit of thrust. You know what? I'm not going to bother. Just go ahead and just hop out, Sal. Go ahead and take the data out of here, even though I think it's garbage. Where's that ship? It must have passed by now. There's the moon. There's the ship. Okay. See, and now we can toss the satellite aside and he can get it, but I don't think we're going to. Unless he can't get in. Nice. Now we've got this crazy orbit, so I'm going to assume that somewhere around here is where we're going to need to do this maneuver. Okay, 153, we've got 270. Yeah, we're fine. Let's go and get aimed at that thing. The goal is to bring this all home, but we will toss what we need when the time comes. One thing is, yeah, we're not very center of mast, so I think we are going to have to toss this thing aside. We'll bring it back to Kerbin, though, so it burns up in the atmosphere, because it's out of fuel, and we're not going to give it any more. So I just realized that Kerbal Engineer is assuming that we don't have the probe core attached to us, but it looks like we might be okay anyway. I think I'm going to actually bring it down to there. And then we're good. Yeah, see, the center of mass is basically the exact center of the ship. So, you know what? With this open for drag, it might do it. It's only one way to know, right? If only Sal had the requisite skill to aim prograde or aim retrograde. What I'm hoping here is that the drag induced by these things... Let's actually bring the antenna back in. But the drag by these things being open might hold us retrograde. It's probably a dumb idea, and it probably won't work, but hey. I don't have a better one. Okay, it seems to be working. I don't know if I'll be able to see aerodynamic stuff. I'm going to hit F5 here. And if things start exploding and he dies, I'm going to allow myself the option to toss this away. The engine is overheating. I think I'm just going to burn away the fuel while I can. But so far, so good. So far, using the external bay as a as tail fins seems to be doing the job. I kind of wish I could toss the engine aside now. I didn't put the decoupler on there because I wanted to bring it down so my ship was heavier for that drogue chute contract. And I never recovered scientific data from space around Kerbin, although I think this ship might have some on it. I don't think so. Although it kind of looks like we're not coming back down. Or we are coming back down, but just not this orbit. So he can hop out and actually, he can just get a crew report. Oh, by the way, I have the lights mod. I totally forgot about it. Crew LEDs. It's yellow because there's a pilot on board. That's awesome. I just love it. Yeah, I don't know what all LEDs are available. I just like the idea of little lights on my ship telling me things. I might need to install a module manager. Oh boy, patch to automatically turn that on everything, because I just want those LEDs on everything. This is looking like it's probably going to be our last pass. We're under 40 kilometers. We are going back up technically, but I would not be surprised at all. Yeah, we're not going back up. And we're landing in the sunlight, which is always nice. Got the drogue chute. Oh, and we already have the parachute one, so we don't really care about that. What we care about now is, do we have the parachute capacity to stop us and not kill us when we hit the ground? I'm going to drop my last quick save here, just in case I decide to kind of go for it and then regret that decision later. I tossed the probe core so that we were lighter when we hit the ground. We still lost the engine, but Sal survived. Let's go ahead and bring him home. 150 science total. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Lots of money, lots of rep. Let's go ahead and recover that probe core for a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of funds. And let's recover this for science data. Very tiny, tiny amount of science data and a lot of funds. 210 grand. That was worth saving right there. Definitely. Okay, and with that science we just got, I'm going to unlock the Airstream protective shells. And what do we got? 60 more, so we can't unlock another one of these, but we could unlock this if we wanted it. And I don't particularly care for it, but might as well just to complete that line. And then we're good. And then we're going to launch this, which I just realized has no reaction wheels. I will deal with it. So far, it seems very similar to the last launch. Now, we have no actual turning ability, so hopefully aerodynamics will keep it going mostly straight up most of the time. It seems like it is actually slightly going there. So maybe we have tiny bits of reaction wheels? I honestly don't know. But yeah, this is why I unlocked the protective shells, so we can do away with the that container bay and actually have a properly sleek aircraft, at least as sleek as we can make it at this stage. Now we have proper control. And I reread those contracts that I failed to read the first time and the second time. And those satellites, I totally forgot that satellites need, like, things on them. And so they wouldn't have even worked anyway. That satellite was complete garbage. It would have completely failed to do what I wanted it to do, which is actually complete the contract that I had set out for it. They needed mystery goos on the satellite. I also took another contract to get a satellite in orbit around Kerbin, and that one needs a thermometer. So I threw a thermometer on here, and this guy's going to do 3 satellite contracts instead of the 2 that we had previously thought he was going to do. This probably could be a little more aerodynamic. The fairing thing was a little iffy on the ability to not have this little blunt bit here. Like if you go straight down, it just doesn't like it. I probably could have used the internal fairing nodes and attached this thing to the first one, made it a little bit longer so that it could come down straight. But I don't care enough. It's looking really good as far as our orbit's concerned. Now, of course, this guy's going to lose his connection for a little bit, which is super annoying. But there's not much you can do about it. I'm going to lose the fairing now. Revealing the solar panels, which is important. Getting our electric charge back up, which is also important. There is basically no fuel left in this guy. Yeah, not just basically. There is no fuel left in this guy. So let's toss him aside. Right, this one, yep. And now we've got this fuel tank and then this fuel tank, which should be enough to do everything we want to do here. I might just burn until this comes in contact with this, giving us more time to do this as possible here. I mean, why not do most of this now, right? Oh, we've lost our connection. So now we just, luckily, we lost our connection with the engine off. I don't know what would happen if the engine was on, but I fear that it might be that we would just totally lose everything. So let's go ahead and get out here. Wait for a connection. There we go. Now we should be able to extend the antenna, which I think you can even do when you don't have a connection, but that just gives us a better connection. I doubt it, but if we're lucky, we'll just complete this contract right here. Yeah, mystery goo. Generate power. This is moon. This is moon. This is Kerbin. Yeah, we're not at the designated orbit within parameters. So what we have to do is we have to go up here to our apoapsis. Or actually more like here. And do a little bit of radial. We are out of electric charge, and there's nothing we can do about it. We're going to be out of electric charge for quite a while. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete this maneuver node. And I'm going to time warp until we have electric charge. Oh, that was quick. We had it for a second. I'm going to time warp not quite so fast. We get electric charge when we're on the front side of Kerbin. Now I think it's just when we're when we're time warping fast enough. I don't think it has to do with anything other than that. See there, we have electric charge. Okay, we're gonna aim ourselves away from the sun, so we get full charge here. Luckily, it only took a couple days. Yeah, with this fuel tank on the front, it blocks these. I didn't really expect to have this fuel tank this long, but we're probably going to have it throughout the entire mission, which kind of sucks. Okay, let me reset all this stuff up. You know what I'm going to do. It's pretty obvious. So I'll come back when I've nailed this. Okay, I just missed hitting F10, but I got it. I got the equatorial around Kerbin contract, which is always nice. So now we're heading to the moon. Yeah, let's nail this one. We'll come in this way and grab this. And then we'll do the plane change and everything. And now, the big question is, do we have solar power? The answer is no, but that's because we're in shadow. So let's aim ourselves right at Kerbin, which is going to aim our solar panels right at the sun when we come out of Kerbin. And... oh, that's right. We got to go all the way around, don't we? Okay, that's garbage, but it'll do the job. We want to aim ourselves upwards so our tail is facing Kerbin so that when the sun comes out tomorrow, we'll bet our bottom dollar that tomorrow our solar panels will be in the sun. Okay, about halfway there. Let's go ahead and fix our everything. Of course, now we get a moon eclipse. What are the chances of that? Apparently infinity. Oh, duh. I'm like, why don't we have solar panels in the sun? Because the moon eclipse. There we go. Now we might have trouble here. If we don't come back out from Moon's limb when it comes time to do this burn. I didn't think about that part. Looks like we're going to have to actually possibly wait. Although, No, see, we could tell it to aim at the maneuver node, or we could have done it ahead of time. So yeah, we have to wait until we've got a CurbNet connection before we can return. Not a big deal. Just kind of annoying. It'll take an extra pass to get this orbit correct. The things you don't think about. There we go. We've got CurbNet access now. We're only 30 seconds ahead of time, so maybe we'll get lucky. Yeah, I think a little bit of radial in will do it. Actually, watch the contract here. Oh, orbiter on the moon. Boom, we just got it, so we don't need a radial in. Okay, well, then how about right here we just fix this and be done. Yeah, we apparently have 769 in here, so we are going to be keeping it with us. Not a big deal. More fuel is always better. Yeah, but see, right now would be a perfect time to toss that because it would crash. We just got the contract, so these contracts were like ridiculously easy. Like, I'm sitting here thinking I have to actually put work into this. Okay, well, here, rendezvous 2 vessels in orbit of Kerbin. We could actually do that with this satellite. Bring it down to, say... Yeah, see, that's what I don't want to do. Although we can fix that by dragging it. There you go. And then down here we'll slow it down, and then we can get into rendezvous very quickly. That way we can just knock out all these contracts really quick. And yeah, we're still gonna have fuel on this thing when we get done. That's crazy. Makes me want to burn till it's out. Tell you what, let's do. Let's actually do that. Let's disable the fuel in these guys. And then we're just gonna burn until we're out of fuel. Putting our periapsis at 85, which is fine. Then we're going to toss this thing aside, which brings our periapsis up to 123, which is roughly where we want it to be. And ideally, this thing now has a periapsis well within Kerbin, and it's going to crash. Haha, we win. And now we have solar panels everywhere, which is awesome. He apparently has collected his mystery goo data. We could, in theory, we haven't logged any temperature, so no big deal. But okay, now we want to add a maneuver here to slow this guy down to like this. Whew, now I'm going to need to launch a ship into a 123 kilometer orbit. Let's go ahead and tell you what, I'm going to do that next time. Next time we'll rendezvous these guys together. We'll build a ship that'll complete a whole bunch more contracts. We're just making money. That's the way it works. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed playing it though. I'm HMV and I will, as always, talk at you later.